Melissa Go with the story.
Turun, 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 turun. Harga barang
Belum lagi ikan yang lain-lain kan?
The farm hero, the average cost of a Thanksgiving dinner.
Mesti naik lah. Barang-barang kalau import mesti naik sikit lah.
Inflation of food in Malaysia in 2022 year. Inflation is the rate at which prices of goods and services increase over time. For example, an ice cream that cost 6 ringgit last year may cost 8 ringgit this year. Food inflation reached its peak at 7.3% in August 2022, decreasing to 6.8% in September 2022. Inflation can be measured using CPI and PPI. CPI is Consumer Price Index, measures value of goods and services the typical consumer purchases. PPI is Producer Price Index, which monitor changes in producer costs, like chicken feed and manufacturing expenses. An increase in PPI increases the cost of services and goods, contributing to inflation. Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia reports that from 2011 to 2022, food inflation averaged 3.19%. rising at 7.3% in November 2022 and falling to 0.4% in August 2018.
The first factor affecting the inflation of food in Malaysia for 2022 years is the war between the two countries. In February 2022, Russia began to attack Ukraine. Ukraine is the main producer for wheat and corn. Then the country also controls 70% of the world market. Thus, the situation led to the increasing price of the corn, soybean and palm oil. Besides that, the corn, soybean and palm oil are the ingredients to produce the chicken feed. Here, the price of chicken will rise because the farm need a high cost to supply the chicken. In this case, many chicken raisers may file for bankruptcy or start other business because they are unable to continue bearing the losses. The second factor is weather. The price of vegetable has increased for the Chinese New Year due to the raining season. The farmer years suffer when it rains a lot. Besides that, the price of vegetable affected by the crops. Besides that, the price of the seafood will go up because the change of weather. The peak of the seafood season will have been in September and October. On the contrary, the still raining and strong winds have disrupted fish movement and raw catch activities. The third factor is labor shortage. Many foreign workers leave Malaysia without reason. Most of them service in agriculture sector to produce egg, vegetable, fruit, chicken, cooking, oil and rice. Global supply chains have been affected by China's zero COVID policy, which has caused company and industry to stop operation. Not only that, there is still a disagreement between Putrajaya and Jakarta about the availability of labor from Indonesia. The last factor is the minimum wage increase. On the 1st of May 2022, Malaysia minimum salary increased from 1,200 to 1,500. The minimum wage policy will affect the low earners who have more money to spend on primary expenditure such as food. On 12th of May 2022, Utusan Malaysia reported then food price will probably increase by 15 until 60% starting next month after implementation of the new 1,500 minimum wage. According to the report, the price for the various every needs such as chicken, vegetable will increase prior to the celebration of anniversary last week, and the company across Malaysia will increase the price of their food product. The smaller company also may raise the price of food in order to keep current labels because the minimum wage increase the production cost.
Furthermore, food inflation can cause some effect to the country. One of the effects is reduced purchasing power. When food inflation occurs, it will cause individuals to reduce their purchasing power continuously. For example, 10 ringgit used to buy 6 apples, but this June, only 10 ringgit can buy 3 apples. It shows a 50% decrease in purchasing power. Based on a news, an individual, Tamisavi Skanda, said she could not afford carton eggs anymore because of price increases. To save money, she still only purchased 10 eggs at a time. Also, food inflation can impact on small business. When the price of these raw materials rise, the cost of acquiring the necessary inputs increases, directly impacting the overall production cost. For instance, an increase in the cost of flour will cause the cost of cake production to increase. Based on a news, the chief executive officer of the Micro Entrepreneur Academic, Abzari Abdulwahid, said it's a little annoying to local business because the cost of raw material involved will increase. The inflation rate is high, so consumers will be careful to spend, and it will affect sales and cash flow. After that, food inflation can cause government intervention. Local governments have the responsibility to control the inflation to protect residents' purchasing power. Based on news, in February 2022, the government spent 3.8 billion ringgit on chicken and egg subsidies. The original intent of the temporary subsidies was to control the price of chicken and eggs that surge. This can place a huge financial burden on the government.
There are some ways to overcome food inflation. Firstly, raise interest rates to cool demand. For example, central banks will tighten monetary politics, such as raising a country's benchmark interest rate in order to stem inflation. Higher interest rates tend to dampen overall consumer demand, such as demand pull inflation, including demand for discretionary food products and restaurant dine-ins. To ease inflationary pressures, however, higher interest rates may have a limited impact on food inflation when it is caused by supply-related or cost-push factors such as production disruption or higher labor and raw material costs. Besides, another way to overcome food inflation is price controls and subsidies. Another measure that governments use is to impose price control, such as putting a cap on prices or subsidizing essential food items such as meat, eggs, flour, and cooking oil in order to keep prices from rising. Price control may limit supply when a producer's business profits are eroded by raising input costs amid the price ceiling. Next, export bans also overcome food inflation in Malaysia. A shortage of food has led some countries to impose export bans on essential agricultural products to stem rising food inflation. For example, the Malaysian government placed a temporary ban on the export of poultry from June 2022 due to a shortage of supply, which caused chicken prices in the local market to rise. Lastly, forward and futures contracts can also help to overcome food inflation. The Ministry of International Trade and Industry to collaborate with the Securities Commissions and Bursa Malaysia to induce the use of futures contracts for vegetables, fish and meat importers, which are currently limited to commodities. This should also include rice. It will help lock in the future price of the food importers. The futures can be sold to a government-linked company set up by the Ministry of Finance on the secondary market.
In our assessment of the food inflation scenario in Malaysia, we advocate for a multifaceted approach that combines technological innovation, social welfare initiative, target business support, and strategic trade policies to address the root causes and consequences of rising food price. Firstly, funding research and development for climate-resilient crops that sustainable farming methods is essential. Using technology to its full potential can increase agricultural output while decreasing the need for expensive inputs and promoting long-term environmental sustainability. Malaysia may improve its food security and lessen the influence of outside variables like climate change and geopolitical conflicts. on food price by giving priority to these developments. In order to control inflationary pressure, smart international trade practice might be extremely important. Malaysia can effectively manage food inflation and establish a more resilient and sustainable food economy by implementing a comprehensive and cooperative plan.